So as Jeff said, we're here to look at current and future state of AI and machine learning. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that based primarily on survey work that we've done recently with enterprise end users. Then I'm going to switch to talking about some of the key trends I see happening in 2019, and then we'll leave a little bit of time for questions at the end. So first of all, in any period of kind of exponential growth, it's worth asking ourselves, when will this turn into an S-curve? That's because ultimately most trends turn into S-curves. They start, they happen slowly, and often at this stage, change or adoption can be almost imperceptible. But then things start to change quickly, and then they slow down as it becomes almost constant as you reach kind of saturation point. S-curves can describe all sorts of things, such as how water evaporates, the expansion of the early universe, how empires fall, and the bit we're interested in, the spread of new technologies. And so if you overlay onto that Everett Rogers' diffusion of innovation ideas around innovators, early adopters, and so on and so forth, it's worth asking ourselves, where are we? Where are we on this S-curve? And I think we're about there, where that blue bar is. This is not based on survey. This is not based on data. It's one of the very few things I'll be saying today that are not based on that. This is based on my perception of what's going on, as you heard, from almost 20 years of looking at this space, starting 2000, 2001, when machine learning was really only something that could be done by organizations such as the US government and very large academic institutions, because simply the compute resources did not exist. Or they were, more to the point, they were way too expensive for normal enterprises to use. Now we all have access to massive compute resources with a computer attached to the internet and a credit card, thanks to cloud computing, more of which later. But this is all very good, but you're kind of probably thinking, why should you care about this stuff? And as Jeff alluded to in the introduction, we've done some survey work recently where 97% say it would have between a slight and a significant impact on society in the next 2 years. And we also asked them many other things, which we're going to come to in a minute. We also asked them in the survey, which is not in here necessarily, but about positive impact, negative impact, impact on them, on their organization, on their industry, and so on and so forth. So who are these people? This is the 451 Alliance. This is an alliance of about 50,000 IT and line of business decision makers from around the world who answer a series of surveys of ours across the year. We call the products that come out of that voice of the enterprise. And what you'll see in a minute is voice of the enterprise, AI and machine learning. We've had many survey products over the years that have had questions interjected into them about ML and AI, and such as in the areas of IoT and security and cloud computing. But this survey is completely new and it's dedicated to this subject. So all the people are asking these questions. Once we filter out those that can't answer, we get to the people who actually do know something about this subject. And we waited until 2018 to really launch this, because you can be too early with these things and it can be very, very difficult to find people who actually know what they're talking about. But we have them, and I would say that these people are not paid to give their opinions. These people on the right come from those organizations on the right and many more. We do not offer them gift certificates for Starbucks or any other place. We do not solicit them over Twitter. We find these people, we interview them, and their reward essentially is they get the research back. So they have a vested interest in making sure that this research is coherent and is truthful, and it actually reflects the voice of the enterprise. So what is that voice telling us in terms of machine learning adoption? So looking at the maturity of this technology at the moment, we asked them what stage they're at, and 17% said they're currently deploying machine learning. Another 19% saying they're developing or in a kind of proof of concept stage. And then another 12% said they don't do either of those things yet, but they plan to do so in the next 12 months. And then the rest, including 36%, who say are either not doing it at all or have plans that are much further out. 36% are way, way further out. It's an interesting adoption curve. And bear in mind, what they could be doing if they've deployed machine learning, they could be deploying into one single narrow use case. That's fair enough. These are not necessarily, in fact, I'm pretty sure none of them have had their entire organizations transformed by AI and machine learning. That's not happening yet. That may happen at some point in the future, but it's not happening at the moment. Another way to look at this similar, same data is like this. So if we think about 1 in 6 of the people are already deploying machine learning, so that's that 17% number I had on the other. You add to that the other almost 20% that are currently have it in development, and then the other 12% that plan to use it with an ML in a year, and you've got about 48%, or about 3 times the current state, almost 3 times the current state of 17%, who plan to have machine learning up and running essentially within a year. So if we come back here in a year's time, we expect the number to be much, much higher.